Public sentiment regarding immigration raids seems to be shifting.
Yeah, recent polls show that support for President Trump's position on federal enforcement is declining. Gallup surveyed Americans and found a record 79% of adults now think immigration is good for the country. One of the more notable numbers is the attitude on reducing immigration. That figure dipped significantly to 30% versus 55% from last year. The ongoing raids carried out by ICE in Southern California have generated significant public discussion and backlash. Despite a recent ruling by a federal judge ordering ICE to halt the raids, there is widespread fear and uncertainty within the immigrant community. So for some clarity, we want to bring in LAPD Chief Jim McDonnell to talk more about these issues. And, you know, have you seen a decline in immigration raids in Los Angeles at this point? We know some of the National Guard troops have now gone home, but what are you seeing on the ground? Yeah,
we've seen fewer, I've seen stories about different immigration enforcement actions throughout the region, but not so much in LA City recently. I think much of that work was done early. Everybody's aware of what happened as a result of that. So we're hopeful as we move forward that things will reduce anxiety in all of our communities and be able to focus on our main business.
Well, because it's really impacting our businesses and financially the city.
Yeah, it's had an impact. The level of anxiety is very high amongst many of our communities. So my hope is that once we can refocus and be able to move forward, that we can bring communities together from this and be able to focus on our main role, reducing crime, keeping people safe.
All right, scary time for a lot of people. We want to talk about your officers and how they're dealing with all of this, oftentimes finding themselves caught in the middle. Governor Newsom actually pointed out the public's trust in local law enforcement he feels like is fading. He talked about this at a news conference yesterday. Let's play his comments.
And I'll tell you, the most damaging thing about what's going on right now is other law enforcement agencies, these good folks, are being impacted because people are losing trust in local law enforcement now. They don't know who is who.
Yeah, how do you feel about what the governor's saying there?
Yeah, you know, I'm hopeful that they are not losing trust in us. We've worked very hard to be able to differentiate our mission from that of ICE or those agencies in support of ICE in this task force. Our role, and I'll just restate it, is we don't engage in civil immigration enforcement. We're there to protect the community. If that is the perception, then that has a chilling effect on our ability to be able to keep our community safe, because people are afraid to come forward and report being a victim of a crime or a witness to a crime, and then the whole system breaks down as a result. So we've worked very hard for the last 50 years to be able to draw that line and be able to do the best job we can, bringing all of our communities together and everybody feel like they're part of the solution.
Well, I have to imagine too, you know, you look back to 2020 and the unrest with George Floyd, and then there was a real erosion of trust around law enforcement and discussion around that. So you talk about 50 years, just the last 5 years, you guys have had to kind of make some inroads.
No, it's been a very difficult 5-year period in particular for everybody engaged in the policing profession. We've seen the results of that in our recruitment and retention efforts. Post-2020, many people who could leave the field did and moved on to something else or retired. And it had a very chilling effect on our ability to recruit the best and the brightest as well.
Has that changed?
It has. We've seen an increase of about 95% this year in the number of people who want to be Los Angeles police officers. We still have work to do within the city family to be able to fix the throughput process to be able to bring people on board. We work closely with personnel department. There have been obstacles there in the past, and we're hoping to work through those so that we can be more efficient in the hiring process and be able to capitalize on that interest.
Well, I know I'm grateful that you are available to come in and talk to us, because I think there was an erosion between journalists and the police department too, and that has an effect on communities. So thank you.
Yeah, no, thanks. On that topic, I know because it's there's a lawsuit and people are concerned about journalists being targeted in the unrest environment. What happens there, and my strong belief is that nobody was targeting journalists no more than they were targeting other police officers. But both in a closed area, once that area is declared an unlawful assembly, we try to move people out of there to maintain peace, restore order. And then sometimes in order to do that, as officers on the skirmish line are taking rocks and bottles and other debris, they use less lethal projectiles to be able to move people out of that area. In doing so, some of the media folks were struck with some of those 40 millimeters or 37 millimeter projectiles.
And they hurt.
Yeah, they hurt.
Yeah.
They do, as were police officers who were injured also. And no more than we were aiming at police officers, I don't believe that anybody was aiming at media representatives.
Should we hear those stories, though, of police officers are being hit? Because it's news to me.
Yeah, no, we had 52 officers hurt during the unrest of our officers, as well as other officers from CHP, the Sheriff's Department, and other agencies. So yeah, we come away from that with a lot of lessons learned, as we do with any major event. But certainly, we did not come out without having people who suffered injuries.
Yeah.
Sure. We should say a federal judge just ruled against restricting the use of rubber bullets for journalists, but you're making clear that that was never the intention.
Never, no. No, and I respect the injunction that came out, and we're abiding by it. We put a notice out to all of our employees within the organization. But any case where anybody struck like that or any complaint is made, a very thorough and detailed investigation is conducted. We pull videotape, body-worn video, and any video from the environment to be able to look at it. And we drill down sometimes frame by frame to be able to see what happened and put it all together, as well as interviews with everybody who we can talk to who was in the environment.
I'm fascinated. Can I come see it?
Please.
I love watching that kind of stuff. I do want to talk about, there's a headline, homicides down in Los Angeles. Do you see something behind this trend? Is it an anomaly, or what's happening here?
Yeah, some of it, homicides are down nationwide in many of the big cities. And it's hard to be able to explain why that's occurring the way it is. I'm proud to say that homicides are down almost 30% here in Los Angeles City year to date, after being down 14% last year. So we're in a very good place, trending in a very positive direction in that regard. And here I can speak to, I think it's more strategic policing, focused on where the problems are, who the repeat offenders are, but as importantly, working with community members to be able to work together, to get information, to be able to direct our deployment and inform our crime-fighting strategies around what the needs of the community are, and I think that's paid big dividends.
How do you continue to connect with the community? I was actually in the police station the other day. My license plate fell off. That's another story. But there was a flyer on the desk that was offering for the community to come have coffee with some of the officers, and I thought, well, that's really wonderful. Is that one of the ways that you were just trying to make the community know they should feel safe with you all?
You know, in cities around the country, they're deployed more heavily than we are when you look at the officer to population ratio. So when people in Los Angeles see a police officer, often that police officer is running from call to call to call. So to be able to get the time to be able to sit down and talk and explain why we do what we do, I think pays tremendous dividends for us. We look forward to the opportunity to be able to do that any chance we get. We're currently down 1,400 officers and about 700 civilian professional staff. So we are hiring sworn police officers now. It's a great time to come on board. So I would encourage anybody so inclined to take a look at us, look at our website. But really, if we can't be successful unless we have a strong relationship with the communities that we serve. And we are there to serve them and help protect everybody.
Especially here in LA when it's a very diverse community.
Yeah,
Chief, thank you so much for being with us.
We appreciate you coming on. Thank you.
Thank you for having me.